Hey everybody, happy Friday. So I was trying to deal with the tech. I was trying to switch to my other computer to see because it's not the internet. StreamYard said to do a speed test to see how the internet is, and the internet is like way beyond what it needs to be. So I don't know what is going on with that. So it's not the internet. It might be StreamYard or something to do with that. So I am literally sitting practically on top of the router. So we will see. But if it starts to get really bad, because it was giving me that bad message again, if it starts to get really bad, then we'll just cut it short because it's very stressful to kind of run a live stream that is super choppy. So we're going to cross our fingers that everything works out, and we will just manifest collectively a good live stream. Welcome, welcome everybody. How are you? For some reason on my other computer, just in case it's the Mac, like internal Wi-Fi, the webcam won't work. So it's like, what? Yes, I found the router, but I can't plug into it because this Mac doesn't have the right kind of plug-in for that. So I'd have to order some kind of extra piece that I don't have. So anyway, how are you guys doing? Hopefully everybody's doing good. Thank you so much, everybody, for the happy birthday wishes. I've got 2 days before my birthday, but we have already started the celebrating. So I got a huge bouquet of flowers that's sitting over there, yellow roses, hydrangeas, lilies, just this huge, beautiful bouquet of flowers. And I also chose for myself a bunch of skincare because I'm feeling the self-care type need right now in my life. And I obviously have been using skincare for a long time, but this is the first time I did a lot of research on exactly what I wanted to use. And it all came in from Sephora, and that was very exciting too. So I was excited to have a box that came in yesterday and had all of the new products that I'm trying. So hopefully you'll see bright and shiny, beautiful skin. I guess we'll see kind of how it turns out for skincare. And let's see, I also got some new lashes, not necessarily as a birthday present, but I did get some new lashes. So these are called Miss California. They're the magnetic lashes. And yes, I see people talking about Publish and Thrive. So I have been working for a couple of weeks now to get everything ready for Publish and Thrive, which opens on Sunday on my birthday. So if you've been waiting to join Publish and Thrive, it will open up on Sunday, probably around noon. So that's going to be really fun. And then tomorrow night, George and I are going on our first date night in something around 5 years. And I know that's going to sound a little bit crazy, but of course we've been, pandemicking for a couple of years. We've had a little tiny Evie. And then before that, Andrew was in school. So instead of finding a babysitter and paying for that, we just did kind of our date lunches during the day. And so we haven't really had a date night go out. So we went on to care.com and we found a great babysitter that has lots of really good reviews and things like that. So she's going to come a little early tomorrow night. We're going to hang out for a little bit, and then we will have her with the kids for a little bit. So I'm very, very excited about that. I have no idea how Evie will do with that. So please cross your fingers that it's going to be good and that Andrew will kind of keep her occupied. If you have any tips about how to get a 2-year-old to handle well a first babysitter, let me know. I'm all ears. Cheyenne, I love this. My husband and I make sure to have a date night once a month, even if it's just dinner and a movie at home. So we do family type stuff, and we also do stuff together. Obviously, when the kids are asleep at night, we've been watching Schitt's Creek, which I highly recommend if you have not seen it. We are moving to season 5 now, and I'm so sad because I know there's only so many episodes left because I think there's only 6 seasons. So it's once you love a show, it's hard to let it go. And I know it's coming to an end-ish. So we're going to cherish those last few episodes. I think there's 14 episodes in each season, and we're on episode 3 of season 5. So I am loving it. I think next after this, we watched The Witcher together, which we watched season 2, and it was really good. Also, I liked season 2, I think, more than season 1. And we love Schitt's Creek. We watched The Wheel of Time. And then we also are going to watch, I think we're going to watch Dexter, because we watched all of Dexter and now it's like, okay, years later, they've got a new version of Dexter. So if you've seen it, no spoilers, but let me know what you think. So Superstore is a show I had never heard of before. And then I saw somebody like putting up, maybe it was like a TikTok thing. They were like, my favorite scenes in Superstore. And I was like, how have I never heard of that show? Because it was really funny. So that might be another really good one to watch for sure. Have you made it to your new house? No, we have not made it to our new house. We are still waiting. And I've been like refreshing my email all day today because we are kind of on the very last steps of the approval for the house. So we got big news yesterday that the appraisal came through and everything's fine. So it's like now we're just waiting on that last little news of you're cleared to close. So hopefully that is coming today. I hope. And then we will close on the house earlier in February, but we won't actually move in until mid-February because the current owners are going to stay there for a few extra weeks while they figure out where they're going and what they're doing with their horses and stuff like that. So I have not seen Vikings. Where is that? Where do you watch that? I know that show has been for a bit, right? But I haven't seen it. Cobra Kai series, that's definitely one that's been on my list. A lot of people have said that Ted Lasso is really good. So we are planning to watch that because I got a new iPhone and it came with 3 months free of Apple TV. So we'll get to watch that over there. But yeah, I think what we were doing right now is just kind of enjoying, once Andrew is on his way to bed, just kind of having like three or four episodes to watch of something short or a couple episodes of one of the longer things. And that has been really fun. Oh, it's on Peacock TV. Okay. So if you guys, I posted it on Heart Breathings, but I should post it into the group too. But there is actually an indie author who has a series on Peacock right now, which is so cool. It was just so very exciting to see. So if you're not familiar with her, Jamin Eve is the name of the author. She writes like young adult and new adult paranormal mostly. I think most of her stuff has paranormal in it. I think for those of you that read your books outside of Amazon, I think she's exclusive to Amazon, so you might not be familiar with her. I don't know her personally, but we're friends on Facebook just as part of the author community. But when I saw that she had a series coming out on Peacock, and it's like an animated series, which is super cool because it really allows them to do all the magical, like special effects in a cool way. So if you have Peacock TV, I highly encourage you to go check out her Supernatural Academy series, because for every indie author that breaks through that sort of glass ceiling, it proves that, there's room for all of us to have that level of success. So I'm just like super stoked and excited for her. And like, it just really proves like what's possible, which is very exciting. So the more people that support her, the more opportunities there are, and the more Netflix and other places will start looking at indie books as an actual thing. So she started really the like supernatural prison type phase, which this I think is based on the supernatural prison world, which then kind of kicked off a lot of the Academy stuff. And she's been such a huge name in that. So like definitely one of the first authors to really kick that off. So she has been an innovator and she's super talented. And I think it's just very cool to kind of witness somebody achieving that, because it just shows what's possible for everybody. So it's pretty cool. I think that her series, they're saying, is like TV 14. So it's kind of like for teenagers and up. So highly recommended. Adult, like not child friendly. So let's go back to that comment. If you're wanting an adult animated show, Legends of Vox Machina comes out next Friday, and I'm so hyped for it. So where is that coming out? Let me know. I love hearing about indie succeeding to TV. Me too. It's like even, so what's the Robin Carr series, Virgin River? She's not self-published or indie published, but even just seeing like a romance series make it onto like Netflix was a huge deal, because, the more books get made into TV series, the more opportunities there will be, because the more successful they are, the more people, in those positions will start looking at that as a viable source of their stories. And so we got to get out there and support every author that, gets that kind of support from the networks, because that just, opens the doors for everybody. So yes, Deb, I'm feeling that too. Too many shows I need to jot down. Sweet Magnolias was a book series too, I think. And yes, Firefly Lane. I think that Firefly Lane was Debbie Maycomer, right? I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. Amazon. Okay. It was a Kickstarter that wanted to raise 750, but ended up with 13 million and Amazon picked it up. Oh, that is super, super cool. Okay. Very, very neat. It's neat when something goes that crazy. So talking about Grimm, Wentworth. I heard somebody say that Ozark is coming out with a new season. George and I, hey, Bethany, we are talking about TV series based on books and other TV series that we're wanting to watch. George and I watched the first episode of Ozark, and it was kind of like dark, and we were like not entirely gripped, although I do love Jason Bateman. So I think at the time we just weren't in the mood for something so dark, so we haven't gone on to watch it. So let me know. Legends of Vox Machina is Critical Role, and it's on Amazon. Okay, awesome. We need to go check that out. Amazon Prime, Critical Role's D&D campaign. I'm definitely going to watch that. Carnival Row, Ozark. Okay, people are saying that Ozark is really good. Netflix also has After, and that's a book by Anna Todd. What was the name of it again? I think we got that cut off. We've been watching Castle. Okay, I wish I ever get a TV deal. I want a cool intro like Castle's. I've never seen that show either, but I know it's about a writer, right? And it also has Nathan Fillion, which is like one of my favorite actors, but I've never seen that in particular. So it's just really, really cool. Yeah, Hallmark does a lot of movies based on books. They don't do my kind of books, but they do lots of romance type books. So that's really fun to see. So just the more the merrier. And I think that it's just really important to go out and support those indie authors and even the trad pub authors that make it to that level, because there's just so many movies and TV series that are just reboots of old stuff. And though that can be exciting to like watch a redo of this or like another season of something that was a long time ago, but it's just like there's so many original and amazing stories out there from authors that are just like so good, and it's just a matter of making that leap and showing the networks and the big streaming giants that we have some really good stories that would be great for their platforms. So we keep supporting and keep getting there. But yeah, I think overall there's been some really good TV coming out, so I've been enjoying all those shows and even like picking up and watching some older stuff too. So that's really fun. How has your writing been going? Let's see, where did that question go? There's so much going on the chat. How's your writing been going? So I am done with the first draft of my short story, but it still needs some edits. I am getting a little bit of an extension on that so that I can make sure that I have it done by Sunday. So that story is almost finished, but I'm not going to read you any more of it yet because I want to go through the edits, but I'll see if I can read more of it next time. But I will tell you, so this story is a Hansel and Gretel story. I don't even have a title for it. I'll title it at the end when I'm done with it. But this story will go into Once Upon a Bite, which is Once Upon a series, anthologies that I've been doing for the last few years. And it will be exclusive to that anthology for, all of the rest of this year. But as a treat, because it has taken me so long for me to get this out to you, for those of you that are here that did participate in the scavenger hunt and you got in all of the answers to those 13 days of Spooktacular for Halloween, you will be getting an advanced copy of this as well as another digital treat from me. So that is kind of an extra that I'm throwing in there once it's finished. So be on the lookout for that coming to your inbox next week. And everybody who submitted answers will get the treat, even if it wasn't the exact right answer, just because that we had a good amount of people that really went through the whole thing. And I know it has been several months. The only excuse that I really have about that is just that once November hit with NaNoWriMo and some of the other like bullying type things that were going on in my life, I just literally had to go into survival mode for a little while. And then once we got settled here, I needed to rest and just reset. So I just had to take a little bit of time before I could even move into that. So I apologize for those of you that have not gotten your scavenger hunt, but I will make it worth the wait. There also are a couple more gifts that are still going out, like the grand prize that was all the different books. But I've been waiting until we get into our new house to order all that stuff, because with Amazon, the books have been, there's still paper shortages going on. So if you've been to like Barnes and Noble, you may have noticed that some of the shelves are a little bit more bare, or some of the books that you wanted, haven't been there yet. So yeah, so the chats I haven't done yet, those will all get scheduled sometime after we've moved in. And also the books that are going out will get mailed out after we've moved in. So probably sometime in March is when I'll start reaching out towards the end of February. So thank you for your patience. I know it's been crazy, but I was looking back on it and I was like, man, I probably should have just not done the Spooktacular this year, because there was so much going on that I probably should have just been like, we're just going to do 3 days instead of 13. But I just really wanted to do it because it was fun, but I probably overextended myself a little bit during that couple of month period of chaos. So thank you for being so understanding and awesome. But we're working on it. So Adriana, we're almost in the finish line. Everything has worked out so far. So we're just waiting for the bank to say we are cleared to close. And there's a couple little paperworky things left to happen, but it's definitely looking good. But we're still at the point where we don't know 100% yet. So we will find out. Also, I wanted to share with you guys that I did get a couple of new notebooks, we'll call them birthday presents. Oh, Rana, I did see that actually. Can we have another watch party? We should do another watch party. I really do want to do that. So the tricky thing about the watch party is finding out exactly when we can do it and trying to make it thank you, Jennifer. I'll talk about that in a second. Trying to make it when as many people can join in. Because if we do the teleparty with Netflix, a lot of people can actually join that, because a lot of people have Netflix, but then some people maybe in Canada don't have access to the same show. So it's kind of like, So I think probably what we'll do is we'll just pick a night and we'll just pick a show. And if you can't make it to this one, then we'll try to schedule another one. But that would be super fun. I also wanted to do a live stream on Discord again of the rest of Until Dawn, because I was really digging it and I have not gone back to it. Jenny, I feel like you're the Smeagol of notebooks. It's my birthday, precious. I love it. I love notebooks. So the sparkly bracelet kind of has a special meaning to me, because this is from Swarovski. So I've got a Fitbit here, but I also have this from Swarovski, and it's kind of like a wrap bracelet. And I love, love, love this bracelet, but it is always kind of a reminder of a lesson to me, because George and I were going to Vegas for our anniversary. Gosh, this was probably 5 years ago, I think, or 5 or 6 years ago. We were going to Vegas for our anniversary, and we couldn't stay long because we had a little boy at home and we had someone watching him. And we drove to Atlanta the night before. We got up in what we felt like was plenty of time. We got to Atlanta and the security line was like 2 hours long to get through, and we missed our flight. So we were at the airport like a little over 2 hours ahead, and we missed our flight because we were stuck in the security line for so long. And it was so devastating, because it's like all we get is 3 days in Vegas. And, for many people, that's plenty of time in Vegas, and you don't really need more time than that. But for us, like when we had gone the previous time, we had stayed for 7 days and we just loved it. And we had all these plans. So it was like, okay, we've only got 3 nights in Vegas. We want to make the most of it. And we lost that flight. We missed it. And I was so upset. And so we had to try to find another flight, and we couldn't get out for what was it, George? 6 hours? It was 6 or 7 hours sitting there at the airport, not able to go. And I was so, so upset. And so we were like, okay, you know what? We got to just make the most of it. This is another one of those good synchronicity stories. So I'm glad I don't think I've ever told you guys this. So this will be kind of fun. I was so upset. I really was about to throw a fit because I was so upset. But we were like, okay, let's just try to make the most of it. So we went to the Swarovski, and they had this beautiful wrap bracelet. And I was like, okay, well, let's buy that. So I loved it. George bought that for me for our anniversary. And then I got a matching keychain for my keys. And I wear this all the time. And the keychain has been on my keys for like 6 years now. But we went out to eat at a nice, like whatever the nicest restaurant there was, like PF Chang's or something like that. We ended up renting one of those. Have you guys ever seen those rooms in the airport where it's like a sleep room, like kind of like a little hotel room, but it's like a mini hotel room that you can rent for a few hours when you have a layover or you need a nap. So we like rented one of those rooms and we sat in there and we watched a movie together and just like hung out with some snacks. So that was fun. I went and got my nails done at one of the nail salons in the airport. So it was one of those moments, especially of George kind of bringing me down from being upset that our trip was ruined, and really teaching me that you can take a hard time that seems like things are falling apart, and it is what you make of it. And that was a big lesson in my life. And of course that came back up again in our recent thing with the house, is kind of like, you just make it what you want it to be. And you don't have to some things are just devastating, right? But sometimes when it's not really devastating, like nobody died, it wasn't that bad. It was, and they didn't make us pay for new tickets because they knew that a lot of people were missing their flights because of the security being extra bad. So they got us on the next flight. You're just making lemons out of lemonade, or making lemonade out of lemons. It's like, it was just that really teaching moment for me that was like, wow, we can still have a really great time. And then we get to Vegas. So we got to Vegas super late that night. It was like midnight or something when we finally got to our hotel. And we were like, why are we stuck in traffic at this hotel? So we were staying at the Bellagio. We had this amazing room. Actually, I don't think we paid. So we didn't even pay for the room that has the fountain view, because those rooms are like $500 a night, and we did not have that kind of money. So we were like, in whatever their least expensive room was, which was still expensive and a big treat for us. We got there at midnight and we sat there waiting in the car because there were all these police vehicles everywhere. And we were like, what is going on? Well, we find out when we get into the hotel that a drunk driver had gone on a binge on the Vegas Strip that afternoon and had like killed 3 people with his car right in front of the Bellagio. And I just had this kind of like epiphany of a moment that, what if our delayed flight saved us from walking out on that street and getting hit by a car that night? And it was just like, okay, I hear you, universe. Sometimes delays are just redirects in the right direction. It's just what you need to avoid more pain in your life. And sometimes it can seem like a hard thing, but it's really for the best. And we ended up having a really great time. And when we finally got into the hotel, I was telling the guy that we had missed our flight and that it was our anniversary and all this stuff. And he was like, oh, well, I can upgrade you guys to this amazing room. So we ended up getting this amazing upgraded room right in front of the fountain, like up on a high floor. And it was just incredible. Yeah, a bit of a Final Destination moment, LA, but we're gonna try to pretend we just dodged it all together. But everything happens for a reason, and sometimes when things don't happen the way that you exactly expected them to, it can become a real skill and a real blessing in your own life to be able to look at it and say, is this something that's really devastating, or is this something that I can just mourn and be upset about and then look for the silver lining? And so we as a couple have just kind of taken on this idea that, you know what, yes, you can be upset. You have a right to be upset when things don't go your way, but you also will do better by yourself and your family and everyone around you if you can really look around and find the joy in the situation and the way to make it right. Because a lot of times it's for your own good and it's for the best anyway, even when it seems to be something devastating. And so I carry that. I still have that same keychain, and I wear this bracelet quite often just to remind myself of that trip, because it was like just a real good life lesson that, even if things seem to be failing, they're failing in the right direction. And it's a lot of things are blessing in disguise. Jennifer says, hotels love to do that. Always tell them what you're doing, and many will do something for you. I learned that from a friend who works at a hotel. When we went to get married, I think Talina said she got married there too. I got married. George and I got married at the Chapel of the Flowers in Vegas, and it was so amazing. It was so fun to get married in Vegas because you put on your big, like, sparkly dress and you get to walk through the hotel and people take pictures of you because they're like, oh, it's a bride in Vegas, you know, and it was just so fun. I felt like a princess. I actually, I did my own hair, but I splurged like $300 to get my makeup and lashes done for the day. And I like never have looked better, I think, in my whole life. And it was just so much fun to get to go out and, you know, be wearing my wedding dress in Vegas. And we had an amazing time. But somebody had told me so we were staying at the Mirage, and somebody had said, you know, make sure that you take your dress up there so they see that you're getting married. So I did that, but I was too like shy to say, can we get an upgrade? I was just too like embarrassed to ask. So I didn't, and I was hoping they would offer it, and they didn't, but they did send us a bottle of champagne, which was super awesome. So the next time we went to Vegas was for George's birthday several years later. And we had been going through infertility treatments, and I had just started publishing. So book 4, Shadow Demons, I've kind of told this story a little bit before. Book 4, Shadow Demons, was just coming out, and we flew to Vegas the day the book released. And we were there for like 7 or 8 days, and that was the best trip ever. And it was super hot in Vegas. But when we got there, I finally was like, okay, I'm going to have the confidence and I'm going to ask them for an upgrade. And at first the guy was like, oh, I don't know, because you're staying for like 8 nights or whatever. And so I was like, well, if there's anything you can do, we would love an upgrade. And we were staying at the Aria that time, which, if you've never stayed at the Aria, is an amazing hotel in Vegas. And he came back and he's like, well, we have the corner suite, but you can't see the TV from the bed, if that's okay. I'm like, did you say the word suite? I don't care about the TV. We will take it. And that room was like a massive upgrade. We had like a living room. We had a bathtub that had a full like view of the Strip. It was a steam shower. I mean, it was incredible. So if you ever get a chance, don't ever be too embarrassed to ask for an upgrade, because it was so, so worth it. But anyway, speaking of notebooks, instead of Vegas, I saw Viva Las Vegas Wedding Chapel for us, fun place. Wearing my dress in the Bellagio was the best part. Yes, exactly. It's like, and everybody's looking at you, and it was just, I agree. It was super, super fun to get married. I showed up at the hotel after I got married in my wedding dress. I just love it because it's just that princess energy. I don't know, but it was super fun. That night we got dressed, we got, changed, and I wore a shirt that said bride, just like a white shirt that said bride. And I wore my veil out, and we went to see the Chris Angel show. And he actually, I don't know how he did it, but like 1 second he was on stage, and then the next second he was standing right behind us with a microphone and was like, here's a couple that just got married. And I was like, how did he do that? So we got called out in the whole thing. It was very fun. It was fun to get married in Vegas. If you like that kind of thing. I had been planning, just as a side story, I had been planning a wedding for the two of us in St. Lucia, because we were going to go stay at like a sandals resort. And I turned to George. I was like, are you excited? He's like, I don't really like the beach. I was like, what do you mean? I want us both to have a good time. That's how selfless George is. He's like, I just want you to have fun. I was like, but this is our wedding. What do you want to do? He's like, can we go to Vegas? And I'm like, yes, we can go to Vegas. So we that ended up being the best trip for us. We had a blast. Now I want to go back to Vegas. Well, right. Who doesn't like the beach? I think it's because he's bald and he sunburns easily. So it's just not his favorite thing. But anyway, I have 3 new notebooks that I will show you guys real quick. So this one says, I don't know if you can see, it says write your own story. And then it has my name down here. I got this. Now I can't remember the name of the shop, but if anybody's interested, I will share it with you. It doesn't even have it on the back, but it was a shop from the UK. So it took a little bit of time to get here. And all I will say is that I was ordering like monthly tabs, and they were the only like beige monthly tabs that I could find on Etsy. And so, you know, if you're going to order from the UK, you should put more in your order than just the tabs, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to get this notebook. They have it in this and they have it in gray, and it kind of has this sort of leathery feel to it. It's kind of like that fake vegan leather or whatever people call it. And it's just lined pages, but they're nice, like narrow college ruled kind of lines. And the paper is really nice to write on. So I am using it as a journal. And I really am enjoying this notebook. And now I wish that I had ordered more of them. I can't remember the name of the shop, you guys. I will post it in the Coven and on Discord later so that you can look it up. But I really want to get more of them because this is really, really beautiful. And it's just the perfect size to carry around. So I've been using that for my journaling, like morning pages. Then I have decided that, oh, good to see you, Kelly. I have decided that I am going to start a new kind of like ideas journal. So without getting into too many other things, some of you that were following Heart Breathings last year know that I started the Great Ideas series. And I was talking about how to, you know, make lists of your ideas and track your series and all of that stuff. And that is part of what prompted the attacks from that other author. So I just feel like I can't use that notebook anymore. I don't even want to look at it. It's somewhere in storage. I just don't even want to think about it. But I do want to still have a notebook where I keep a list of all my ideas and all of the shows that I'm watching, because I feel like it's a vital part of my creative life to like watch Schitt's Creek. And even though I don't write something like Schitt's Creek, there's character development that happens there that is so beautiful that I just really want to write what I appreciate about the story and about the characters, or about the romance, or there's pieces of it that I really, really love, or the theme there that, you know, you can lose everything but find more joy and happiness, you know? So I think that'll be really fun to start a new notebook tracking those things. So the point of this notebook is basically to keep track of what you're writing, or like ideas you want to write, what you're watching. So the anime series, even anywhere you get story. So it could be a book, it could be a TV series, it could be games that you're watching that have storylines in them. You know, there's so many different ways that we consume stories, even like commercials and different things like that could touch you in a certain way. Songs, audiobooks, podcasts, all of those things. And I want a place where I can track all the series that I'm watching, the books that I'm reading, and all of the ideas that come from that, and how I can, you know, potentially like use that to spawn more and more fire and creativity for the things that I'm writing. Because I definitely have found that with my eye on like Publish and Thrive and the business type things, especially without an assistant, which that job is posted, by the way. So if you have been waiting to apply for this assistant position, or you know someone that would be really great at, it's actually more than just an assistant. It's called an operations manager. It's a full-time position. I do have a posting up on my Heart Breathings Facebook page for anybody to go and apply. I think they're already starting to screen candidates, so definitely get that in today or by the weekend. But having so much to do has made it difficult for me to get back into my creative like life, my world. So anyway, long story short, I have purchased a couple of different notebooks. So there was I think it was called Sequus notebook on Amazon that had a dragonfly, and it was purple. And I bought it, and the dragonfly is completely off center. So I'm going to have to send that one back. But then I got this one from a place called Joy Things, I think is how you would say it, on Etsy. And it comes in multiple colors. They did have a purple one, but it was sold out. So I got this one. But this is very like meant to be similar to an Archer and Olive journal, because it's the same white, like bright white paper, thick pages, like 160 GSM with the dots, but it doesn't have any page numbers or anything, but it's very similar to those. But the reason I didn't order Archer and Olive is because they were sold out of pretty much everything on their website at the time. So I got this one, but on the Archer and Olive website, they had a sold out journal that was, it's purple and it has a moth on it. And I was like, okay, it's not a dragonfly, but I really, really love it. It's not velvet. It's like fabric. Can you hear that? It's kind of like fabric, I guess. But that one was sold out. And so I was like, oh man, I'm sorry that I missed it. So I had posted in a paper planning group with a bunch of authors that I was looking for this purple moth notebook. And wouldn't you know it, that I got tagged like by 4 people in the Archer and Olive trade group that somebody was selling theirs. So I ended up getting this one. And it is, I know the lighting is kind of strange here right now, but this notebook is beautiful. It's just white, dot grid, 160 GSM. And it's amazing. So I've got that. Then my friend Danielle was like, oh, I'm going to send you an Archer and Olive because she also said she has a lot. So I think that's also on the way. So I've got many notebooks. I saw somebody say, how are you going to organize that? I'm still working on it, but I will do a full setup video when I get it set up. But here's the other funny thing is, let's see, let me pull back to where Jennifer Evelyn Hayes's comment was, if I can find it. Oh, there's too many comments. Oh, there it is. Sarah, did you see that Simply Gilded has a cute pink notebook collab with Archer and Olive out today? I did, and I ordered it. I ordered that and the Celestial stuff. Then somebody said, Jenny says, have you seen the new Happy Planner box? It made me think of you. It's all moony and witchy. So I did also buy that. And now I need to just be like, okay, I cannot buy any more stuff because I have bought way too many things and we're buying a house and have to buy all new furniture. So I think I'm on a spending freeze other than our house and our date night. Now that you're buying a house, you're back to hoarding notebooks like the rest of us. I know. And you know, it felt very good to get rid of so many things, but now I am joyfully buying a few items that I will love. But I do actually feel like there have been some good lessons for me over the past 6 months of this trip, knowing that we have a little bit less burden, a little bit less stuff. And then it makes you really enjoy the few things that you have. Whereas I think I was getting too many things before. And then you get so much that you can't really derive any joy from it because there's like too much stuff to really like even know what you have. Like so many washi tapes that you can't really decide which one to use. So, and of course, all of that stuff is like years of collecting and I do enjoy it, but it's like, I do feel like I probably need to slow down and try to have less things, which is a silly thing to say after showing you my 3 new notebooks, but you know, it's all good. I did want to tell you guys last week about this book that I've been reading. This is a book that Tanya Gonzalez suggested for me. It's called Joyful by Ingrid Fettel Lee. And it's about finding the joy in the small things, even just the way we respond to color and our surroundings. And I've only gotten to this far in the book so far. So mostly she's been talking about like design, like interior design and stuff like that. But I'm really glad that I picked this book up because it's really making me think a lot about my surroundings, about what I wear, about what really makes me happy. And sometimes that's the kind of thing of like, it can feel good to shop. Like I enjoy shopping, but then when it comes to using my things, it's really fun to have like the one journal that you love rather than having like 5 and I can't decide which one I want to use, or having that guilt of the things that you don't use that you feel like, oh, I should be using that. So I think that's really fun. Jude says I'm reading that. So that's really cool. So the Archer and Olive is not sold out for anybody that wants to get it. I was figuring that would sell out pretty quickly, but it's very cute and comes with some washi tapes too. So that is really fun. But yeah, I think that there can be balance there. And I've been thinking a lot about how I want to decorate our new house, like not the house, but just like in my office space, because I have sort of 2 sides to my personality in that I love the sort of like rainbow brightness of beautiful, like white walls or whatever with lots of color, like all the different colorful notebooks or a lot of colorful washi tape. Like I love looking on Pinterest at craft rooms where they have like all their Cricut and their colorful paints and stuff up on the wall, all organized. Like that just makes me so happy. And that's one of the things I love about this book is she talks about that like abundance aesthetic of having, all this color and all these things. Like that feeling of abundance kind of harkens back to like hunter-gatherer days when people saw berries and they were like so abundant, right? And so I've been thinking about that, but then there's also the like witchy side of me that really wants to have like kind of a dark cave kind of office with like a lot of plants and like greenery around me. So I'm like, So George and I will have to have a discussion about this later, but we'll see you later, Michelle. But there are 2 rooms towards the front of the house. And in our other house that we were building in Charleston, I was getting 2 rooms because I was going to have the office and then I was also going to have the dining room, the formal dining room across the way. Well, our new house does not have a formal dining room, but it has like a bedroom and then it has an office. So I'm trying to decide if that's all going to be mine. And if so, then I'll probably do 1 room in the witchier aesthetic and 1 room in the other, which is very extra, I know, but if it ends up being mine, then I will. But I also don't want to take an office if George needs his own space. So we'll have to have some discussions about that for sure. I like that. That's really fun. Like a little blanket fort in the corner and make it a witchy cave. I do like that because I feel like you could do some things with, with those kind of tents that you can make that will come down off the ceiling that you see, sometimes in little girls' room. So we will have a gaming room also. So that's upstairs. There's 2 bedrooms upstairs and then a very large like media room or gaming room. And so we already have, plans for that space to a degree. We're going to put our consoles up there once we get new ones because I sold all of ours except the Nintendo. We're going to put all of our gaming computers up there and we're probably going to create a playroom in there for Evie too, like a little space for her. So it's just like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait. So you guys will have to let me know, do you want to see like an empty house tour? And then like, as I start to decorate, would you want to see that? Because I know it's not really the point of the channel to have like a home decorating thing, but I would just be curious if you guys would like to see some of that stuff here on YouTube, or if it's just like, okay, put a few pictures up in the coven, because I love talking about it and sharing that stuff with you guys. But just let me know. My 2 girls love knocking down my altars. Oh no. Yes, cats. Well, sadly we can't have cats just because George is so allergic and we don't know if the kids are, but thank you guys for saying that. Okay, tour all of it. Show us. Empty and then decorate. So it's going to be some time for sure before we get everything decorated. So I'll show you guys in stages because I don't want to just like buy everything and not put thought into it. I saw somebody ask if we were going to get an interior decorator or anything, and I might get some help with it because I feel like there are a lot of companies, like even just like California Closets and some places like that, that can really come in and help you organize your space. I also saw an Instagram kind of like mommy blogger person. I'll have to remember who it is and go back through their posts, where they hired a company that was like an online company that they sent photos and video of their empty room, and that company sent them back a mock-up of how they would decorate it. So they're not buying the furniture for you, but they're showing you how to style the room. And I really like that because I feel like I don't really have a good sense for like spatial awareness and like how big and scale certain things should be. And we're going to have this really high ceiling. And it's like, I don't want to buy a couch that doesn't really fit the space. And I don't want to. So that is cool, but that's a more affordable way because it's only like $100 or something rather than like thousands of dollars for an interior decorator. So that way you can kind of get an idea and then you can slowly buy the pieces that you want. So I'm going to find out more about that and I will share it with you guys. So I don't have my phone out here since I moved spaces, but I'm going to try to pull up the Coven site on my computer. So let's see, because I know there were a few questions there. So Susan had said, when retelling a fairy tale or other traditional story, how close should you stick to the original story, or how can you tell when additional ideas or changes will mesh and work? See, this is how good George is. He heard me say that and he went and grabbed my phone for me. Sadly, he has forgotten that I do not have Facebook on this phone anymore, but it was a good gesture. So Susan, what I would say is, really, I feel like when it comes to fairy tale retellings, and if anybody here in the comments has done fairy tale retellings, let me know what you think. I've done several in terms of like short stories or novellas, but I've never done like a full novel. But I feel like when it comes to that, you just need to the flavor of the original story, and that it's okay to change names. It's okay to change anything about the original story. Like I'm writing a Hansel and Gretel story. So like basically you want to keep some of that fun lore in there. You want, you could keep them still as brother and sister. You could make them two sisters. You could make them twins. You could make them both. I mean, you could make them cousins instead if you wanted, but like some of those things you would want to hold on to. Like, so for my Hansel and Gretel story, Hansel is missing, like potentially dead and missing. So you don't really see them together in the story. So that kind of shifts and twists it a little bit more. But you can really do kind of whatever you want to do. And I think in terms of telling what's going to mesh and what's not going to mesh is you just have to use that, like trust your own instincts when it comes to, does this work for the story or does this not? But I think where you can get into trouble with a fairy tale retelling is trying to stick to it too exactly, because sometimes we see that framework of the story and we're like, oh gosh, I need to really stick to it. I will say though, that there is some discussion out there about like, so if you're writing stories that are set in a certain cultural environment, so like Aladdin, for example, then if you were bringing that into an Americanized story, do you keep the like Middle Eastern characters or do you change their race? And I know there has been some discussion about that. So I'm certainly not going to go into it too much, but I just would say that that would be something that you would really want to explore about whether you want to do that, because right now I think people are a lot more sensitive to those like cultural stories being twisted in a way that you would change the like race of a character or the heritage. So you could maybe move the characters to New York City, but maybe still keep that Middle Eastern type flair to it to try to be respectful. But I think it's just an individual choice. But those are the kinds of things I would definitely be thinking about when it comes to those other cultural type fairy tales. But I think that you can do like gender bending. You can do, moving them into modern day. You can put them in a more historical setting. There's so many things that you can do. It's just a matter of keeping the flavor to where you can make it just slightly recognizable as the original tale, but you don't have to stick to every single piece of it, because I think when you do, you're sometimes holding myself back. So this is a good comment. How comforting or familiar do you want it to be? The more you change it, the more readers will engage like it's a mystery, following clues to see who's who. So yeah, I think that it is really fun to play with that. But I think you just trust your writer's instinct to see what sort of feels like it can mesh well and what won't. Okay, Alex said, any news or decisions on the Summer of Ghost stories? Are they on the published list after Shadow Demons 12, or are they much further down the list? So I have been working more on my sort of game board strategy for this year, because originally I was planning to write book 12 and then immediately write book 4, which would finish out both of those series. So it would be Shadow Demons and then the final Eternal Sorrows book. But the more I'm putting into a series ending with book 12, the more I'm thinking there's no way I'm going to be able to write a series ending of 12 books and then turn around and write a series ending of that 4-book series that I've been writing for more than a decade. I think that's going to be just too hard on my creativity. So right now, the thought is that I will probably do Shadow Demon Saga, and then I will finish writing The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw. And my hope, though you can't hold me to this, is that if I finish all of that ahead of time, then I will be reading. Hi, I'm living. You want to come say hi? I can't go living on myself. You want to come say hi? Look, there's Evie.
Can you find my tablet?
I think your tablet's in the bedroom. Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. I think that the like Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw would be a good project for me to do. And then if I can get it done in time before the summer, then I will read The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw live here. And I think I will put it up as a podcast as well, so that people can just listen if they don't have the time to watch and don't want all the chatting, then it will go up as a podcast. So that's kind of the hope for myself. You did? I'm so glad. You're not going to be able to watch it here right by me though, because I can't use that sound on my video. Okay. Go ask Daddy where you can watch it. She's so cute. She is definitely chatting away. She is super, super verbal kid. Probably because Andrew and I never stop talking. George never talks. Andrew and I never shut up, but it's all good. So the Witch's Door, in terms of the Witch's Door, there's some strategy involved with that one, because what I don't want is to get into an issue of it's so hard when you've fallen behind on your stories and you started so many things, because it's like I want to write them all right away, but then it's like, okay, when I sit back and try to become impartial and think about where it's going to go and where things fit best, what I want to avoid is making you guys have waited 2 years for the sequel to that. I don't want to write the sequel and then it be 2 years until the third book. I would rather clear the slate so that I can kind of relaunch that and then do Witch's Door. And then I don't know that I've told you guys the name of the third book, but the third book after that, and try to put them back to back. So right now I'm not sure where that fits. And we're just going to wait until book 12 is over and then we'll see. And there's a huge part of me that's super disappointed that book 12 is not finished, because I had really high hopes that I would be able to write a huge chunk of it during NaNoWriMo. And that just got kind of destroyed for me emotionally. I could not do it. So it was just like, all right, we're going to pick ourselves up and we're going to keep going. And I just say gratitude every single day for those of you that are still here with the series, still loving it, still catching up, still reading, and, seeing where things go, even if it's been 2 years since. Bethany says, not sure if this was answered, but do you think self-pub advice, especially to be successful in KDP, is still relevant, even if it's 2 to 4 years old? So yeah, my self-publishing course is actually 2 years old at this point. I was doing that so it's about 2.5 years old, but it does get updated. So I do think that there are certain things that last forever, that will kind of work forever. And then there are some pieces of advice that absolutely are totally outdated. There is a book called Write, Publish, Repeat. And it was by the guys that did the self-publishing podcast. I don't know if they even still have it, but it's, that book is really good, and it is a few years old, but it talks about the difference between strategies and tactics. Tactics are kind of things that change. So a tactic would be, I'm going to, start this funnel, and I'm going to, write this specific genre that's hot right now, and then I'm going to blast people with these Facebook ads. And that would be a tactic that might have worked 2 years ago, but doesn't work now. But there are strategies that will work that are timeless. And there are just certain things that always work. And it's super, super good. Yes, write, publish, repeat. It's super, those strategies are the core and the fundamentals. And there are always tactics or gimmicks that can work for a brief period of time, but they're not going to get you a long-term career. And so I think that it depends on the nature of the advice and whether it's something that speaks to a tactic that is fleeting, or if it's something that is going to work for long periods of time. Because, for example, when Kindle Unlimited first came out and they paid by download, a lot of people were throwing this tactic around about write as many super short books as you can, because you get paid just as much for a short book as you do for a long book. So that was a big tactic that people had to write really short 10,000 word or 5,000 word stories and make a bunch of money by putting them out really fast. But then as soon as Amazon flipped the switch there and said, well, now we're going to pay by page, all of those people lost 90% of their income, because they had put everything into writing short books. And so there's always going to be those things of These are the sort of things that last forever. Yeah, kind of like a fad versus classic. These are the things that work always, and then these are the things that don't work anymore. So it depends on the nature of that advice. Do you have any tips of coming up with book or novel titles? I have a 12-book series, historical murder mystery, planned, and I only have the title for book 1 in my head. So yeah, we actually talk about this in Publish and Thrive, but I would say that the biggest thing about creating titles is you really want them to be recognizable as a set if possible. So using those repeated words like I do, like demons forever, beautiful demons, bitter demons, inner demons. A lot of people don't know which book was it that this specific thing happened in. Was that Rival Demons? Or, people get the names confused, but the branding is so important because people know when they see that book that has the word demons and has my title and my name in that exact font and stuff like that, they instantly, like, some part of their brain recognizes it as a Sarah Cannon book, as part of this series that they love. And that is super important for people, especially when you have this huge library of, books everywhere and you have to try to figure it out. So my biggest advice to you would be to try to find some kind of naming convention for yourself where you can repeat that pattern. So if you got a 12-book series, try to think of either a repeated word or a repeated mashup of some kind, or a repeated sort of, like on my Fairhope series, the repeating is the lull of the words, like the rhythm of the words, the trouble with goodbye, the moment we began, a life with no regrets. It's that same sort of thing. So even though you're not repeating a word, it's got the same feel to it and it looks similar on the cover. But what you don't want to do is have one book called like Caught and then have another book that's called like Chasing the Bear. I don't know, that just came out of my head. But like you wouldn't want like a 3-word title over here and a 7-word title over here and a 1-word title over here, because it's going to look different on the cover and you're not going to be able to get that branding right. And then you also want to think about the fact that if you're going to repeat a word, you need to be able to come up with 12 different ways to repeat that word on there. Now, your title does not have to be like completely original, but you wouldn't want to use the title of something else that was already a best-selling series. So yeah, and Martha, exactly. So like, especially when it comes to murder mysteries and things like that, it's often really good to use the name of the investigator or the name of the town as your series title, but you can also work that into the actual title of the book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Harry Potter and the, all of those things. So that can really work. Sometimes it can be immediately wanted to read Chasing the Bear. Thank you, Jenny. But yeah, it's like you can find sometimes movie titles, you can use song titles, you can use combinations of words. So like my friend Danica Dark uses like Ravenheart and, taking 2 words and putting them together. So there's lots of things that you can do, but I would just really think about what's the naming convention that you want to repeat across all books to keep that branding really tight in there for yourself. In the Facebook group, there also are questions about what's your manifesting process or your manifesting ritual. I'm not going to actually go into that today, but if we have time, we'll talk about that more next week. But I will try to get a link to where we talked about how I manifested my house sale last year, because that really talks a lot about the manifesting ritual. So I will add that for you guys later. Yes, for some of you who were asking, Publish and Thrive starts on February 7th, and we're doing things a little bit differently this time. So the first module will open on a Monday, but instead of having Thursday live streams, we're going to do our live streams on Saturdays so that more people can attend that work full time during the week. And it also gives people a little bit more time to go through the material. I did see somebody else said it was their birthday today, and then we kept talking. I didn't get a chance. So if that's you, please say again, it's my birthday, because I think it was maybe Lisa or someone. So come in and let us know. Happy birthday to you if you're still here. But I saw it and then I didn't get a chance to bring it up. London Book Fair is back this year. That's so exciting. I'm so ready for things to open back up. Like, can we please just get over this and move forward? I'm just so hopeful that we're going to be moving past it soon. Very hopeful. But yes, Publish and Thrive starts on February 7th, but enrollment opens this weekend. And I'll also be enrolling for HB90 Bootcamp in the Thriving Author Bundle if you want to sign up for both. If you took HB90 and you're wanting to take Publish and Thrive, wait for your email that has your coupon code in it because you'll get $99 off. So definitely move forward with that because I would love to see you guys in there. It's going to be a really good round. I had intended to re-record the course for this. I've been updating the course anytime something changes or advice becomes irrelevant. Somebody asked if we have information about audiobooks very, very briefly. I do not go into like huge, I don't talk about audiobooks a lot, but there will be more coming on audiobooks in the next round. So there will be a brand new version of audiobooks coming out audiobooks of Publish and Thrive coming out in the fall. So I didn't get a chance to re-record it for this round. So I'll be re-recording it once we get settled in our house. ApolloCon has opened for authors. Oh, I should definitely look into that. Thank you so much for that. It will not be Saturday mornings. It'll be Saturday mornings or Saturday afternoons. I think from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern time is when we're going to do it. So it's going to be fun, but this will be the last time. I had thought last time in August was the last time I would run this version of the course, but this will be the last time because once we get settled in, this will be availability for me to finally re-record that course and make it even better. But that means you can get it at a cheaper price because the price will be going up in August once it's redone. So I will be doing more courses. I have some things on the back burner. I'm also going to be writing a nonfiction book. So there's lots of things happening, lots of things going on in the world. So I also wanted to mention, just because I found them and they're in the other room, before we go, for anybody interested, we went to Marshall's the other night when we were out to dinner at Jason's Deli, and we went to Marshall's and I was just looking for like maybe a dress to wear to the closing or something. And they had an entire section in the like notebook section of oracle cards. They had the Moonology cards. They had Spirit Junkie, like Gabby Bernstein cards. They had Work Your Light cards, like probably 8 or 9 different brands. And they were like $11, $12 a piece instead of like 25 or 30. They're not tarot cards, but they're oracle cards. So I'm guessing they got a big, bunch of them. And I don't know if they're every Marshall's because it's kind of like TJ Maxx Marshall's, but if you have one near you, it might be worth going to look because those were some cool cards. So, Summer, why'd you hide this from us? You told us. Yes, at Marshall's, I was in shock. Summer's been keeping it a secret, but yes, I'm so excited to know that they even had them there. I bought a couple of different, so I knew that you had some for me. So I did not buy the Moonology ones. I actually did buy Moonology, but I bought them as a giveaway, but we're going to do that probably next week. But I did buy the Moonology manifestation cards and I got the Spirit Junkie cards. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I was pretty sure that you said you had them, but I wasn't 100% certain. I don't know, but TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods are all the same company, so they might be worth going to look into. So it's pretty cool. Hemingway got most of his book titles from the Bible, and I do the same. Well, that's kind of cool too. So there's inspiration kind of even in unexpected places. So thank you, Timoana. Once I get settled, I will send you my address. But thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so glad that sitting next to the router seems to have helped in some magical way, and we had a much better time this time. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Happy birthday to everybody else who has a birthday coming up or is today, and it's going to be an awesome weekend. I will be, for those of you that are writers, I will be live for the virtual writing retreat both tomorrow morning and on Sunday if you want to come join. And Publish and Thrive opens on Sunday, and I'm hoping to have a couple new videos out next week. But that's about it. I'll be back next week for another live chat. Thank you guys for being here. I super, super love you and am super appreciative for all of you. And I will see you soon. All right. Bye.